Hello everyone, it's Dread from Miss Valley Entertainment News. How y'all doing? We're going to take a look at a video by Mr. Hulthen. The original video will be linked down below, called Baldur's Gate 3 New Update and Larian CEO Slams Game Subscriptions. Let's get into it.
Long time no see, my friends. Mr. Holton here, and today we're going to delve into some Baldur's Gate 3 news as well as an interesting conversation going on right now regarding game subscriptions. And we're going to look at some words from Sven himself, the CEO of Larian.
So I decided to do it in this format. Usually when I talk about updates to Baldur's Gate 3, I just go read the patch notes myself and do a video of me reading the patch notes. I decided I don't feel like reading today. I have done a hell of a lot of reading my first day back at work. My eyes are tired. And we're just going to let Mr. Hulthen take it and we'll just comment.
First, let's dive into this new patch that came out, which is really just a hotfix, but let's look at it either way because it has a thing that's been fixed regarding Gale that's actually pretty important. So just in case you've never played the game before but you're planning to, this is a small spoiler. Okay, as you can see here, we can see that it says Hotfix 17 now live. Let's check out what Larian has to say in their usual humoristic way. Hello everyone, we've amended some of the items below to make sure that we're continuing to remain transparent. Aha! The one thing that I absolutely love with Larian, and that I want certain other developers to try to replicate. Anyway, and can provide you with further clarification in relation to some of the fixes. Work is still ongoing to ensure future updates for Mac players will arrive alongside PC versions, and Mac players can expect to receive both Hotfix 16 and 17 together in an update, which we'll be able to talk about more soon. If you're experiencing issues after installing the latest update, please check whether the issue persists with your mods uninstalled. Remember guys, if you have a bunch of mods, like I have like 100 mods or something, you might have to uninstall them or, reinstall them. Install the game first cleanly to make sure that, it doesn't cause problems. As mods aren't officially supported at the moment, oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, official mod support is coming, and it's cool that they're essentially structuring the sentence like this right now, so we know that it is coming. Some installed mods may become temporarily incompatible with new patches and hotfixes, as usual.
I wonder if they're going to allow free mods to exist, or whether they're going to make you pay them to mod. I would imagine free because it's Larian, but we'll see.
The issue persists after uninstalling the mods. Please reach out to our support team with your report.
Wow. Reach out if you've got a problem with your mods after our update. Wow. What company does that? Wow.
Thank you truly for taking the time to submit these issues to us and for sharing your feedback. For more details on the fixes on Hotfix 17, please read on. It's so crazy to me just how many bug reports Larian must have received because they have released so many patches. We're up at Hotfix 17, and those are just the hotfixes, not the main patches. So, I mean, they've had to read through a lot and test a lot of stuff and then write these huge patch notes. It's just insane to me how they've worked so quickly, relatively, ever since the game launched. Okay, here are some spoilers as well, as they mention here. First of all, performance and code. Fixed black and colorful visual artifacts sometimes appearing for 1 frame on PS5 when switching scenes or opening and closing UI windows. That's an interesting problem. Okay, so I had to scroll down for a bit because there was a spoiler right in the combat section, and their spoiler tags don't seem to work. The camera sometimes zooming in while jumping or casting projectile spells, the ability to walk through open doors when you click beyond them from far away, fixed thieves' tools in the camp chest or inventory of a companion who is waiting at camp not being accessible when lockpicking. And then on UI, we have safeguard shields saving throw modifier is now correctly reflected on the character sheet. Flow and scripting, here we go. Here's the little spoiler that I mentioned at the start. Okay, so fixed. Gale will no longer permanently leave the party if you don't offer him any magic items while talking to him, because he gets hungry like that. Unless you're abundantly clear that you don't plan on ever doing so. And then they say this is a temporary bug fix that aims to avoid Gale immediately leaving the party when players are unable to hand over an item. In Hotfix 16, we began the process of updating a player's ability to access certain quest-related items, even if they were in the camp chest or in the inventory of a companion waiting at camp. However, the UI through which items can be donated to Gale has not yet been updated, which meant that the dialogue could be triggered if the items were available elsewhere, but would not show in the UI to be donated. This risks placing players in a situation where Gale expected an item from them and they were unable to provide one. That's a sticky thing. With this initial fix, closing the UI or using any line other than "I'm not giving you anything, not now, not ever" will prevent Gale from immediately abandoning your party until the UI logic has been updated. If you're keen to give Gale the boot and don't have an actual shoe to share in your inventory, selecting "I'm not giving you anything, not now, not ever" will still cause Gale to leave your party permanently. And fix characters getting stuck in the story event, preventing you from controlling them after getting killed in the fight with Grim. Okay, so we got a bunch of little hot fixes here. The biggest one, obviously, I think, is for Gale, because that was I guess you could say, annoying issue if you just say that you don't want to give him an item because you want maybe one of those items at the start of the game. You want to continue having it, but he just needs something or he will leave. This is a cool fix so far. Now, let's get into some drama. Here we go. So, I'm not sure if I should call this drama, really. It's just a statement by Sven, but I think it says a lot about Sven as a person and Larian as a company. And this is why I think it's so important to talk about it, because this is huge when an industry leader like Sven Binky goes out and says this. Like, whenever he says stuff about the gaming industry, you should be listening. Because, I mean, look at the game they made. Look at the prizes they got. Look at, how widely celebrated Larian is as a company and Sven as a leader. Okay, so here's the thing. Say? All right. Philip Tremblay, the director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, discussed the launch of Ubisoft.
I'm sorry. I'm from Canada. French is an official language. It's not Philip Tremblay. It's Philippe Tremblay. Okay? It's not that hard to pronounce. Philippe Tremblay. And I'm not even French myself. But standing up for the rights of the French Canadians in my country.
Plus Premium and Ubisoft Plus Classic subscriptions, and what needs to happen before subscription services become a more significant slice of the video game business. Ubisoft exec says gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games for subscriptions to take off. Unfortunately, this is something that has become more and more, in my opinion, of an issue where so many publishers and companies try to push subscriptions on everybody, and you have subscriptions out of your ass and you don't know what you're paying for anymore because you're paying so many things in order to use them that it's like robbing people blind. It's just unfortunate that it's now infected the gaming industry to such a degree. And I really don't like hearing whenever stuff like this is going on in the industry. And now that Ubisoft is, starting their own subscription service, it's just, I don't know. I'm not on board with it. But in any case, what Sven says here is whatever the future of games look like, content will always be king. Baldur's Gate 3. But it's going to be a lot harder to get good content if subscription becomes the dominant model and a select group gets to decide what goes to market and what not. Direct from developer to players is the way. The old way.
Yeah.
Let's continue on and see what he says before saying anything. Getting a board to okay a project fueled by idealism is almost impossible, and idealism needs room to exist, even if it can lead to disaster. Subscription models will always end up being cost/benefit and analysis exercises intended to maximize profit. Yep. Very true. It always becomes a question of how much money can we actually make. Now, what I like about Larian and Sven is that they didn't really expect Baldur's Gate 3 to blow every other game out the water like it did last year. So they were definitely caught by surprise at how successful the game really was.
Hopefully it doesn't change them.
And they've made so much more money than they expected. Now, they were expected to make, good money off of it and being able to still employ the people they have, but I would imagine that everybody got a fat bonus at the end of the year there. Anyway, there is nothing wrong with that, but it may not become a monopoly of subscription services. We're already all dependent on a select group of digital distribution platforms, and discoverability is brutal. Should these platforms all switch to subscriptions, it will become savage. Yeah, it's unfortunate because everybody's fighting for all the gamers' attentions, and everybody gotta, you have a set amount of money you could pay each month to something. Like most
Finite pie. The pie is the money available to the gaming companies as a whole. Not just a gaming company, but all of the gaming companies. Okay? There is a pie that represents the money gamers have, disposable entertainment income that they are putting into gaming. The more people who create games for sale, the smaller the slices of pie get for everybody. The more subscription services, the smaller the slices of pie get for everybody. You're going to be pushing to make more and more money, but the money is getting to be tighter and tighter and tighter, and the slices of pie are getting smaller and smaller. I don't understand why business people don't understand business. You have to bring more people in with disposable income to gaming that aren't gaming now in order to have more money to go around. All you're trying to do is reach out to the gaming companies on either side of you and take money from them is all you're actually trying to do. And if you get too many companies all doing that, boy, you bet a big clusterfuck. Oh. Greed, man. Greed.
Most people can't really afford having that many subscriptions. I know I can't. Like most normal people can't afford having that many subscriptions. It is just, it's insanity right now. And I don't like this idea of not being able to say that I own a game. Why, I pay good money for this game. Back in the day, $60 was a lot of money. It still sort of is for a lot of people. But the thing is, you can still use that. You can play that game whenever you want because you own it. You paid it once, and you can play it over and over again. Subscription services, you're essentially forced to pay a monthly fee to keep playing a game that you already, sort of bought in a way. In such a world, by definition, the preference of the subscription service will determine what games get made. Trust me, you really don't want that. No, and we've already seen that several times for several years now, that games are becoming a live service more and more, and so many publishers are trying to push it all the time. I'm so happy that BioWare and EA decided for something like Mass Effect and even Dragon Age Dreadwolf to become single-player games. They're not live service. Who knows if we might see signs of live service in the next Dragon Age game.
Still good.
We might, because they had to restructure the entire game, allegedly. But yeah, I agree. We don't want to see an all subscription service type of industry. I can't imagine, seeing more and more games take that route when obviously Larian's model has worked very well, and other companies as well. Anyway, TLDR, you won't find our games on a subscription service. Here we go. Even if I respect that for many developers, it presents an opportunity to make their game. I don't have an issue with that. I just want to make sure the other ecosystem doesn't die because it's valuable. In any case, there has been some replies here, like Magulito saying, I don't agree with this at all. Discoverability has always been an issue. If you're not an established IP or tie your game to a popular IP, example, Hogwarts Legacy, you're swimming for your life just like the rest. I don't see how releasing a game at full price would change that. Sven responds with, the point is that in a world dominated by subscription models, you won't have a fighting chance. You'll have to pay the management of the subscription service instead of the players. In my opinion, that'd be a big setback. Look, I'm not going to say that I'm completely well-versed in all the politics when it comes to game economics and whatnot, but I think I'll just have to go and say that I trust Sven's statement here, and I see where he's coming from, and I think we should listen to him. And I think
Larian Studios probably knows better than anybody how difficult it was to make the game they made, and they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it could have been a disaster and not turned out. It's you don't know. You don't know, but they did the right thing in continuing to listen to their fans and making sure they could make the best game the fans wanted, making the fans feel important and included. And it paid off for them, right? Subscription services, though, man, that just sounds brutal. I don't really want anything to do with that. I really don't.
people just should listen to him, because
I don't want to pay per month for the game I've bought to be able to play it. I mean, if Steam suddenly says, hey, you know those games you bought on Steam? Yeah, you have to subscribe to Steam now and pay a monthly fee to be able to play them. Do you think that would be fair? What if Steam said, hey, not only do you have to pay a monthly fee to play your games, but we're only going to offer 30 games per month that we choose, and we're going to rotate them in and out every month. So every month, 20 of those games will turn over. The other 10 will stay, and then that 10 and another 10 will turn over the next month, kind of thing. And we'll just keep rotating the games. And you'll if your game that you really want to play is not there, pay something else because you're paying by the month anyways, or just wait till it comes back. Like suddenly everything is out of your hands, including your money. That's the scary thing about subscription services. I wouldn't want Steam to do that. Steam controls basically all my gaming right now. They do. And if they did that, I'd be fucked. Let's be honest. I'd be fucked. And so would a lot of you out there. Now there's going to be people who are like on the Game Pass for Xbox or whatever, who are, maybe probably is there PlayStation subscriptions too? I don't even know. They're going to be used on console who may be like, hey, we do subscriptions. They're fine. There's going to be you who play on I don't know, like PC, Mac, or whatever, a non-console, and they're going to be like, hey, we pay for this game, we pay for that game, we pay a monthly subscription for this game, we play it all the time, and it's great. And we also, get the loot boxes, and we buy the skins, and then, by the way, we're really, really broke. Can you lend us some money? I'm kidding, but there are going to be people who argue that it's fine, and maybe the model is fine for you. I don't think that means the model fits everybody or the model is fine for everybody. And if there aren't more than one model of gaming, if things go down one path mainly, and people think that that's going to be the path to making the most money and it excludes everything else, that's bad. Choice is always good. Choice for the consumer, always good.
He's honestly probably the most well-respected game dev CEO in the business right now.
I'd say so.
Fanboying over. That's all we got for today. There's a small update for Baldur's Gate 3, so if you haven't updated the game yet, just go ahead and do that.
Mine did update. By the way, if you haven't heard already, my Skyrim also updated. Despite the fact that I had it previously set never to update, it updated. Strangely, my settings in my Skyrim game changed from never update unless I launch the game through Steam, which I never ever do, changed to always update, and then it updated with no warning. Happened while I was at work today. So I'm not quite sure if Steam is a good company anymore or not, because I'm wondering how Steam managed to change my settings so that Skyrim could update. Check all your settings, people. Don't trust anybody because they're all out to get you. My name is Sven. This is Misspelling Entertainment. Good night.